Throughout my professional life, at nearly every job, I thought if I worked hard enough, someone would tell me what comes next. Maybe I'd get promoted. Maybe someone would notice my potential. Maybe my manager would give me a roadmap for my development. Maybe my company would be sure to train me for the future. Maybe somebody would tell me what skills are going to matter next. That didn't happen. And quite honestly, it really wasn't their job. Last time, we talked about imposter syndrome or imposter phenomenon and how feeling like you don't belong can often be a sign that you're growing, not failing. Today, I want to talk about a different belief, one that sounds very reasonable and quite understandable. Something that I think most of us carry around without ever really questioning it or maybe even realizing it. I think it might be one of the most dangerous myths in modern careers. That is the belief that somebody else is responsible for your development. Or to put it another way, the belief that somebody is coming to save your career. Now, recently, a few months ago, I realized something uncomfortable. Nothing was wrong. My performance reviews have been good. My most recent year-end review went quite well. My manager was happy. The projects are getting completed on time. The work is being delivered. Nobody was complaining. So if you looked at my career from the outside, you'd probably say that things were going pretty well. But I had this feeling that I was stuck, that I was standing still. Not because anybody was holding me back, but because I didn't feel like I was being pushed. And for a while, I convinced myself that someone should. Maybe someone should tell me which certification to pursue. Maybe the company should tell me what skills matter next. Maybe somebody should hand me a roadmap. And then I realized something. The company wasn't failing me. My manager wasn't failing me. And I can see this pretty clearly in my own behavior. Nobody was stopping me from learning Amazon Web Services. Nobody was preventing me from studying artificial intelligence. Nobody was blocking me from reading a book, taking a course, or building something. In fact, most of those resources were available. What I was really waiting for was certainty. I wanted someone to tell me, this is the skill, this is the certification, this is the path. Because if somebody else picked the path, then maybe I couldn't pick the wrong one. But eventually, I realized that waiting for certainty was keeping me stuck more effectively than any obstacle ever could. The company was getting exactly what it hired me to do. I was the one expecting somebody else to own my growth. And that's when I started thinking about this myth that my employer is responsible for my development. Now, to most of us, this myth sounds very, very reasonable. Because, to be perfectly fair, this belief doesn't come out of nowhere. Most of us spend our entire lives in systems where somebody else creates the curriculum. School tells us what to learn. Training programs tell us what to learn. Certification paths tell us what to learn. Our employers assign cybersecurity training, compliance training, mandatory meetings, and required certifications and qualifications, eventually we start associating learning with assignment. We begin to assume if something is important, somebody will certainly tell me. But when I started looking back at my own career, reflecting on this, something stood out. Most of the valuable things I've learned were never actually assigned. Nobody assigned curiosity. Nobody assigned networking. Nobody assigned communication skills. Nobody assigned learning how to learn. Nobody assigned career planning. And yet, those things have probably had a bigger impact on my career than many of the required trainings I've ever completed. Now, thinking about this more, I think the real trap comes in assuming that the company's development goals and your development goals are the same thing. Most organizations don't spend time in meetings asking, how do we make Todd the best version of himself? No. They're asking, what skills does the business need next quarter? If they need project managers, they'll develop project management skills. If they need cloud expertise, they'll invest in cloud training. If they need efficiency, they'll invest in teaching efficiency. This isn't malicious, and it doesn't mean that they don't care about you. It's just business. It's the way it's structured. Because your career is important to you every day. Your career is important to the company when it intersects with business needs. These are very, very different incentives. Now, your employer may care deeply about you, truly. Your managers may genuinely want you to succeed. They may provide training. They may create all kinds of opportunities. They may offer mentorship. But they still cannot own your future. Only you can do that. And what's interesting when thinking about those skills, the valuable skills that are rarely assigned, is that, nobody ever sent me an email that said, please spend the next 6 months becoming better at explaining technical concepts to non-technical people. Yet, building that skill may create more opportunities than getting another certification. Because nobody ever assigned relationship building and networking, effective communication and presentation skills, mentorship, adaptability, or your personal branding. They never assigned you need to learn how to negotiate. But yet, those skills are quite often what separate good contributors from great and influential contributors. The things that move careers forward can often be invisible, at least until you need them. Now, this is where the myth becomes dangerous. The danger isn't that your company won't help you grow. The danger is waiting. Now, if you wait for somebody else to define your development path, then your growth becomes reactive. Your skills become narrow. Your future becomes dependent on having quality managers. Because you can spend 5 years becoming exactly what your current employer needs. And sometimes that's valuable. But sometimes, I would say even often, we mistake repetition for growth. Because there's an old question. Are you getting 5 years of experience or 1 year of experience repeated 5 times? Those aren't always the same thing. Because one day you discover that the market needs something different. Technology changes. Industries change. Careers change. And nobody, absolutely nobody, is monitoring your future more closely than you are. My old mindset, before I really started thinking about this, was someone should tell me what to learn or what I need to learn. As I've reflected, my new mindset going forward is I decide what skills matter to my future. Now, whether that skill is AI literacy, cloud knowledge, leadership, um, communication, or even golf improvement, the specific skill doesn't matter nearly as much as the ownership. Because once I stop waiting for permission, I start growing again. I start moving again. Reflecting on all of this helped me connect one of the reasons why golf is becoming such a big part of my life and will become an even a bigger part of this channel, because it keeps teaching me that same lesson. Nobody can hit a bucket of balls for me at the driving range. Nobody can take a swing for me. Nobody can sink a putt for me. A coach can help. A lesson can help. A YouTube video can help. And a training aid can help. But eventually, I have to hit that shot. I'm the one that has to take that swing. And careers work the same way. Companies can help. Managers can help. Mentors can help. Books, courses, certifications, all of these things can help. But eventually, you have to do the work. You have to take that swing. There is good news in all of this. And that good news is that nobody is asking or expecting you to reinvent your life tomorrow. You don't need to become an expert overnight. You don't need every certification. You don't need to understand every framework. And you don't need to be the smartest person in the room. Your employer can support your growth. They can invest in your growth. And they can encourage your growth. They can create opportunities. But they cannot, absolutely cannot, own your growth. That's your job. Nobody can read the book for you. Nobody can earn the certification for you. Nobody can practice the presentation for you. And nobody can hit the bucket of golf balls for you. Nobody is coming to save your career. And once you accept that, something interesting happens. You stop waiting. You stop looking for permission and you start moving. Just one chapter, just one skill, one study session, one bucket at the driving range. One day at a time. Not great, but just a little better than yesterday.